продовжуємо робочий день, і зараз будемо...
We continue our working day, and we'll speak about a known volunteer that worked with open data. And a policeman brought him to the hospital. That is Iani. He will be with us on Skype, and I would like to invite Anatoliy Tarasenko, who is a lawyer, and Viktoria Chchelnytska, witness of house search. Good morning. I'm Iani. I'm a programmer from Odessa, and recently I lived through a big stress, and now I feel myself better. Thank you, Ivan. Be with us on Skype. We'll continue. Good morning, dear colleagues. In Odessa, a young person, you see, police is persecuting him. Cyber Department of Police and Primorsk prosecution, they attack this young person. They tell that he's the main hacker of Ukraine who got on the site and of the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine, got to their website. It's not true because he was working with open data, and it's not the issue of that information that they somehow that one used. But how that is happening, how they press on the young person, and how they are trying to get information from him, which is not about the case, and they've started it in Odessa because this issue is related to Justice Department, which is in the capital of Ukraine, and how the police acts. We defend this young person because there is a awful pressure and methods of fight against young volunteer. It's not just from that post, but it's somewhere from 90s because they threatened him, they tried to blackmail. They wanted to hire him as an agent. All the methods police was trying to influence on this young man. All the warnings that they shouldn't do it. It's not. It's anti-law. It's abuse of law, and it's anti-human. On one hand, there was misunderstanding. On the other hand, there was like brave cynicism, and that was during negotiations, meetings I had with the police, and also during those actions, those things they commit, those actions they used against Ivan, or that behavior against Ivan. There was an event which is called a warranty or suspicion to Ivan, and but it was not just a suspicion. And then he had a stress, I would call it. I cannot speak about medical diagnosis, etc. When Volodymyr and I saw Ivan, that was not a pleasant picture, believe me. Because we were working with the cyber department, we were trying to work with them on the level which would be clear for them. We spoke to them as a video conference and also on Skype, just to support Ivan, and on the other hand, we wanted to stop them. We wanted them to work according to the law. And that was that didn't influence, and they used that approach to Ivan, which is prohibited by the law, with procedures called, and it's anti-constitutional. You will see a small 10 seconds video in which we can see how in that building, in that apartment where Ivan lives, where they I don't know where that happened. We monitor the situation in Odessa, and I would like to say that this is like a performance of police, and police and prosecution acted together in such a way, all with old ways, to act against people who do something good and who in virtual space open that, and they give a chance to people to get information which is not prohibited, which is open, which is such that is useful for hundreds, thousands, millions of people. Please show that video, which we were able to make. That information proves that they came to inform that he's suspected in committing a crime, but they didn't give him suspicion, and there is nothing to suspect in. But they threatened him that that would happen without his presence. That means that they will search for him, and because there will be a search, they would use some kind of preventive measure, and you can imagine. So this open pressure on this person brought him to very bad mental state. And let's listen to Viktoria, who was a witness, how they took his computers, everything they could, and believe me, as a lawyer with 25 years of work, and it was not according to the law. Thank you.
Hello. Well, they came to us at 7 a.m. We were very sleepy, and right away they read something from a piece of paper about the permit to search, but they evidently did not want to search for anything. They have just come to Ivan saying, "Show us what you have." They also looked into my computers and they took away my PC. I don't know why. They could not explain this, but they have also confiscated both my computer and Ivan's work laptop that belongs to the company that he works for. And then we were driven to an interrogation, and they kept us there for the day. We only left there at 8 p.m. They were looking for something in the computers, and they made Ivan to sign something. They sat him at the computer, and the investigator was dictating to him what he needed to write. So Ivan was tapping this into his computer. Then he signed all this, and we were released. And they came back in 3 or 4 days, again in the morning, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And someone called me on the phone, and they gave me a receiver, a phone, and there were threats saying that they will call a patrol and the police will come and take him away unless he signs something. So this is what happened. To sum up, I'd like to say that, the IT volunteers at the moment are significantly less numerous than those who are dealing with the army and the war, but their role in building up our new state, the transparent power and the capacity of people to see what's happening and to open up the vistas of accessibility that were out of reach previously for us is very hard to overestimate. I'm sure you understand the influence on transparency and the open data, how they influence corruption and officials. So if the actions of volunteers who spend their time, who very often give out their work ideas and inventions for free, the reaction of the authorities will be whatever we can't grasp is cybercrime. Those people would not be able to work because they are not as strong as our army is. So I, as the head of the public organization and the IT person and a volunteer like Ivan, I shall tell you this shall not happen this way. More than that, such actions of law enforcement bodies have to get a very clear-cut reaction. And those people who allow themselves to cross the line should be made responsible. Otherwise, this will go on and we will be left without this volunteer force, which is in high demand now. Thank you very much. Any comment from you? I think that there will be questions about our legal position, about the defense of Ivan, and about what we want and think necessary to do further, and the publicity that we are given this case now is not the desire to organize PR for volunteers, but to organize protection for them. Because, using Ivan as an example, we see what you can do with young and unprepared people. Regrettably, the law enforcement machine, when it is in motion, can do a lot. Starting from coming to people's homes when they are still asleep and ending with the saying that you are the best, so you should cooperate with us, so you should tell us about all that you know and about your friends and also about your virtual contacts. And this is not just the safety and security of a single person, this is the security of projects and the security of the state. I don't have any conviction that law enforcers who were searching for the information on Ivan's computer will use it for the sake of a criminal case, not for their own sake. So, okay, if you have questions, then please ask those questions. And we want to say that we will defend Ivan in such a way that he is left alone, that in a public or private way, they will ask for forgiveness for the way they treated him.
What is done to get apologies from the state? Public steps were taken, and people on different levels. That was done. to explain to those people who run Odessa administration and Odessa police. To us, it was clear that, to start with, they should leave Ivan alone and they should allow him to be healthy, to preserve his health. I cannot tell you more. And after he gets into a normal state, only then to take some steps. One of the such steps was taken, and they don't bring any suspicion to him, and they already they started to say that this is a tactical mistake, and there are some other people who did something. The step Андрій Куликов, Громадське радіо. What was the suspicion about? What kind of data is it about? We have a decision of the court as to a search in different departments of different people, and it's about that allegedly they say what they're looking for. Equipment through which was used to get access to data. Maybe Volodymyr can give you more details about the information. But it's so unclear how they discussed this issue in the court, how they considered that even address where he lives, it was wrong. And also it says, and they went to the location and they saw that people live there. It doesn't mean that they got information there and they visited it. So it's about technicalities. Through the computer, some information was received. We know that the way. It's very important how you get that information. It doesn't mean that if someone is sitting at the computer, he can get that information if he has something to do with that road. It's about data from the Ministry of Justice. We can judge only by decision of the court on a search. It's quite unclear. It's about open register of real estate. And at the beginning of this year, it was announced as open. So everyone who comes to the site of the Ministry of Justice could get information to whom one or the other place belongs, real estate belongs. It's very important to have such data to fight corruption in Ukraine. For access to that open register, Ministry of Justice that presents that as cybercrime. Are there signs of violation of human rights? Did you speak to the person who is authorized for human rights issues by the Parliament of Ukraine? No, we have not yet. We have not spoken yet. A lot of those steps that are done, we didn't do that because Ivan was in that state when we would not, well, we didn't like anything to be applied to him, starting with family and up to officials and friends. We asked all to leave him alone. As the violation of abuse of human rights, there is the main abuse is the security internal health, if you want, and there was a big pressure on that. As to freedom for information, freedom of publicizing that information, that's adjacent liberty. But the normal life of this person became unreal. They were planning to close him, and they wanted to detain him, and they told him clear, and we will take you on your copy machine, and we will not allow you to practice your profession for 3 years. If it's not, is it? What is it? This person lives with that. One more question. Several months ago, I was in the Ministry of Justice at the presentation of that register of real estate, and as far as I remember, he invited all SIS programmers to test that site and to test that register. As we discussed, and at that invitation, some programmers started to test that site. Maybe one is one of them. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, between a test of a ready product and what is called a hacker, the difference is very small, yeah. Why? Because if a programmer, if a professional finds some gap in their work, well, they should thank him for that. They should tell him that he did it better than those who paid for that work. In the West, they thank not only with words but also with money. We have a completely different situation. I want to say that this is what happened to Ivan. Only the court will confirm that he's the one who is convicted, and then there will be suspicion. But what was said orally, maybe millions of hryvnia went through the Ministry of Justice? No, not even a kopeck. Did he open any information that is a state secret? No. To intrigue you, they say that one of logins that policemen were interested, that was login of Petro Poroshenko. With this mysterious note, we thank you, and we hope that that you'll clarify who's wrong, who's right in this situation. Thank you very much. Our next briefing in